What's up, everybody? I'm back. Check my hair, check my face, check all the things that don't like. Look at my lighting. Today, I wanted to look at a shopping list video for tattooing yourself. This video specifically says this is for apprenticeships only, or tattoo artists that may want to try different products, kind of thing. It is not for at-home tattoo artists, which most of my viewers realistically are interested in tattooing themselves at home. I am a firm believer in doing an apprenticeship. I think anybody can get into it if they have the respect for the community or, want to actually pursue it as a career, not just as a hobby. Even if you do want to do it just as a hobby sort of thing, it is possible to just do tattooing part-time. It is possible to have appointment only situations. I worked in an appointment only shop, made really good money. I could charge 80 to 120 an hour depending on what I was doing. Never had walk-ins, had to deal, I worked a full-time job and did tattooing on the side. So I worked 50 hours in one job and another 20 a week in tattooing. And it is possible, especially if you don't have kids, hence why I am not tattooing. I am a mom. I have responsibilities. So I put the tattooing aside, for family purposes. It does work a lot better. But if you do not have kids, that is something that you can definitely do. You can do a part-time job and your tattoo apprenticeship or full-time tattoo apprenticeship. These things are definitely possible. There are people out there who will apprentice you part-time. If you are interested in the things that you will need during your apprenticeship, this is the video to look at. And I'm going to go through what this professional tattoo artist has to say and see what he uses and compare it to what I was using when I started my apprenticeship, because my mentor decided that it would be a good idea to sell me his stuff, and his stuff was shit. So sometimes your mentor is going to try and pass his old junk on down to you, and this is one of those things where it's like, well, why? Sketchy, right? Sometimes you get sketchy situations without realizing it. So I thought this video could be helpful for people actually trying to pursue a career of some type into tattooing. If you are an at-home tattoo artist, maybe this will help you, go through your setup a little bit and say, what is affordable to transition into for yourself, not other people. Please don't tattoo other people in your own house. You can get sued. Don't do that. I'm sure everything he has to say is something I'm definitely going to agree with. That is your intro. Yeah, I did one. Yay. Okay, so this guy's name is That Tattoo Guy. He has 37,000 subscribers. If you guys are also interested in subscribing to other tattoo people, not just me, this would probably be the guy to subscribe to, who's gonna, give you legitimate input and who is still in the industry. So he has 81,000 views on this video. It's got to have some good info in it.
You are injecting things into people's bodies. People can get infections. You can spread disease from client to client. So please pursue an apprenticeship if you are serious about tattooing.
Yes. If you're not serious about tattooing, keep watching my videos and you will see why you should not be tattooing.
So now, all these things that I'm going to go through are just the essentials of what you would need in order to start tattooing. First of all, safety is first. You are going to need gloves. Some type of sanitary wipe. This is Optum 1. This is a medical grade disinfectant. You do not want to use alcohol or green soap to wipe down and sterilize your equipment, because that is not...
Yeah, green soap is very, very thick and slimy, and it will just make a big old residue mess all over your setup. I like that he has medical grade wipes. That is what we use at shops. What I did use at shops. I don't tattoo anymore. Okay. I'm dying. He said gloves. Yes, make sure your gloves fit. If you are getting, even if they're salon gloves and they're clear, it works. Protect your hands, okay? Protect what you are handling. Protect your body. Yes. Make sure they fit. You do not want slimy gloves that are just sliding off of you, that are just preventing you from getting a good stretch. You want gloves that fit.
not actually doing anything but wiping disease around if you're wiping everything down with alcohol. So use medical grade disinfectants like Cavicide, Maticide, Optum One. There's a million of them on the market. You really need to look at what the kill times are when shopping for these products in order to properly clean your surfaces. So for Optum One, the maximum kill time is 1 minute. So I have to make sure that all of my surfaces are wet for a minimum of 1 minute. Dental bibs. These are really nice to put on your tray when you are setting up for your tattoo. If you accidentally spill an ink cup or a rinse cup, it's just not gonna spill everywhere. It will absorb up into this.
It is nice. Also, sometimes when you just use saran wrap, which is, I like to use just saran wrap because the bibs are like an extra expense kind of thing. But the nice thing about it is that when you have overlapping saran wrap, sometimes that ink will actually seep under that if you do spill it, and you can actually just get ink all under your setup, and it's nasty. It's hard to clean, and it stains, and people will see it, and it's gross.
I've not done enough research on all those other products, so I continue to use this. I would like to switch over to a more natural option besides that though.
Yeah, some people use just straight A&D. You can get A&D in the disposable packets. They are very, very hydrating for your skin, and some people just enjoy that more. I think it holds on the skin longer, so you don't have to reapply as often, but it is more expensive for sure.
You will need rinse cup. Now this is a very small rinse cup. I didn't have any big ones to show you, but usually I have bigger ones than this. I don't know why I just have small ones.
That's a solo cup, and I do not use those. For one, they're way more expensive. Two, you can get the plastic disposable cups in like a giant freaking pack for $1, and it's great. You know, the more you can dilute it with green soap and water, then the more rinsing power you have. If it's too small and you try to rinse it, it will quickly start just throwing that old ink back into the tube. It's harder to clean out.
Today, spray bottle for your green soap. Now using a bottle like this as a Nalgene bottle is important because if you use a spray bottle, that mist that the spray bottles create could pick up germs or blood particles and have them fly away, and now your bloodborne pathogen is now airborne. So using these types of bottles is important. You will need tape. Basically,
I've never thought of spray bottles doing that. I always just say it's immediate cross-contamination and the bacteria grows in the bottle, but I've never thought of it actually misting out and pulling bacteria into that. That is a nice observation.
tape your client down because they are going to be screaming in pain. Ink caps and razor blades and dedicated containers for them to live in. Paper towels, alcohol to clean the skin, and a dedicated spray bottle for that alcohol. This alcohol is not to be used on anything besides the client's skin. Do not try to disinfect your station with this. It will not kill certain bloodborne pathogens. You'll just end up wiping and spreading them around. Clip cord.
That's a good point. I guess for disinfecting, yeah, you can. I don't find that as necessary, but in the all-around spectrum of cleanliness, that is a really good idea. I don't know. I really don't know anybody that uses alcohol to spray on the skin before they start doing any work on them. I do know artists that will actually use alcohol in a replacement of green soap, which is actually doable because it has the numbing effect, but the numbing effect is that you are in so much pain that you do not feel the needle going in your skin anymore. That is not numbing. That sucks.
Cord sleeve. If I'm able to, I try to use the clip cord sleeve to cover my machine and the RCA cord, just so it's less bagging that I have to do. If you're using a coil machine or a bulkier machine, you're gonna have to use a machine bag and not one of these. But if you're using a smaller rotary, you'll be able to slide this over your RCA and your machine also.
Yeah, so I have seen people use saran wrap as a substitute for clip cords, and that does not work. First of all, it is really freaking hard to put it on to cover your clip cord. Also, it is really easy to take the clip cord cover off. When you're done, you can just slide the scissors up and just remove it, and it is the easiest thing ever. Oh my God. Trying to unwrap saran wrap off your clip cord cover while also not touching it with your contaminated gloves is impossible. And while you are cleaning your station, you should only be using one hand designated for the dirty things and one hand designated for the cleaning things, like the clean surfaces, so that way you are not cross-contaminating throughout the process. That is a very hard thing to do and a thing that a lot of people end up failing on. It's the process after. You spend all this time trying to keep everybody safe, and then if you don't have your designated hands for contaminated and clean and cross that over, it doesn't matter. So using saran wrap as a substitute for clip cord covers does not work, period. It is not worth it. If you see somebody using saran wrap, no.
You will need needles. Now, I do not use standard needles. I use cartridges. These are two of the brands that I use, T-Tech and Good Guy Tattoo Supply. I made a video about cartridges and which ones that I thought are the best. I will link that above. There are a ton of brands out there. There's a lot of junk, and there are a lot of good quality ones. You just have to find them.
It's like, hey, I'm gonna do an art project. I need like a whole set of Prismacolors, and then you go and you get Crayola or Rose Art or some shit. That's what it is. Don't skip on needles. They are not the same. You need high-end needles. Do your research. Needles are very, very important. It's like me trying to take a Bic pen versus like a Sharpie and a V5. They're all different. They all do different things. They all get different effects.
Disposable cartridge tubes. If you're not using an autoclave, you should be using disposables. I like to use disposables because they are easier to clean up. When you're done with your tattoo, you just throw them away. You will need color. Some people don't use colors.
Dang, dude, that is a lot of colors. That is pretty to look at. Wow.
And they just use black and gray. But if you do color, you need a ton of them. They are expensive. And this is just a small collection. Stencil stuff. You need it to put your stencils on. Now the shop that you are working at should provide the stencil paper and the stencil machine for you to use.
That's debatable. It really depends on what you're doing. I know I have been in a shop where I had to pay for every single thing that I used, or I had to chip in for like basic materials like paper towels, cling wrap, things like that. I have been in a shop that provided 100%, and they shut down in 6 months. So maybe not that situation. If you get in a situation where they're like, hey, I blew my whole 401k on opening a tattoo shop instead of wire, you'd be like, you know, you don't have to buy everything, right? You know, I'm not going to use all the same stuff as you, right? For his situation, that might be true depending on where he's coming from. You really don't consider stuff like that. I'm really glad he brought that up.
This is the Critical Atom X. I've been using it for about 2 years. I do like it. I do have some issues with it, but overall it has definitely paid for itself.
Whatever issues he's had with it are a lot better than dealing with Dragonhawk, because Dragonhawk has come out with that line of power supply and it is not worth it.
But what I will say when picking out a machine, do not go cheap. Do not go cheap. A lot of people make this mistake when they're first starting out tattooing. They'll search the internet for a deal and they'll find one, and they'll be on their third tattoo and the tattoo machine will break down on them. Now that is why you should not buy a cheap machine. I've seen a lot of people comment on my videos in the past where I'm recommending expensive tattoo machines.
Now, fun fact, I bought a machine off of my mentor for like a ridiculous amount of money. And when I got to the next shop, they were like, that has one coil on it, that's a piece of crap. And one day, I was in the middle of a tattoo that was not a long session at all, and it just went dead. Barely running, just constantly skipping, no consistency. I was like, what the crap? And I had been just like burning out this little one coil machine for so long that it just killed it in the middle of a tattoo. So yeah, don't go cheap. Do your research. Get a lot of input on what you should be using, because some people are going to put you in the wrong direction so they can make money off of you.
Here, I think
looks like
either way, I have run this machine for hours on end and it has not disappointed. It's the most versatile machine that I've ever used, and I highly recommend it to anybody. Nobody paid me to say that either. This is just my honest opinion.
Yeah, that is the fun thing I like about standard, because you have your liner and your shader, and you can really tune your liner to what you need it to do depending on you as an artist. Also your shader, you can make it hit harder, you can make it hit lighter. You can have a shader for packing, you can have a shader for smooth blending and hit really softly. Like, I love how much you can personalize a standard machine, and that's why I'm all about it. But if he has something that's capable of doing just a roundabout spectrum based on his really expensive equipment, that's a really awesome thing to look into.
This machine is about $650, but it does pay for itself very quickly. Now, if you're on a little bit more of a budget, Axis Rotary's Direct Drive is a really good option. But either way, I do recommend having more than one tattoo machine, just in case one breaks down in the middle of a tattoo. An armrest. This one I got on Amazon. I think it was like $175 or something like that.
Yes. I had the coolest armrests when I tattooed. Oh my God. I used to work in a factory. I used to be a blue collar worker, and I was an inventory coordinator. I was a shipping coordinator. I had like training for like 14 different jobs. Like, I'm not kidding. I had a buddy who was in maintenance, who was a metal worker, and he came in for a tattoo and traded me armrests, like super heavy duty, like amazing armrests that were custom wrapped with like this really cool, like Victorian embossed, like embedded whatever leather, and it was freaking boss. Like, I loved it. So the armrest will make your life so much easier. For y'all who are trying to tattoo on couches and beds or even dining room tables, an armrest makes your life so much easier.
It's heavy, and it doesn't move while I'm tattooing people.
It shook,
and that is
shook
important.
the whole camera.
Also,
yeah.
you'll need a dental tray to put all your inks and machines
Those
on
are
while
nice.
you're tattooing. I'm not going to drag them over here, but you will need a dedicated trash can and sharps container for your needles and your trash.
Yes.
You also will need a tattooing bed, which is basically a massage table covered in plastic.
It
I'm
is.
not going to pick this up because I have all this equipment on it, and it's
I like how
probably
it
gonna
matches
all
the
fall.
armrest,
But I
though.
did make a video on.
I really like how that matches the armrest. That's pretty slick. You can find them on Craigslist. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace. I had a cousin who used to be a massage therapist, and he gave me his that was barely used for like $50. Fun fact, you need a heavy duty massage table. You need really sturdy industrial type equipment. My boss had like basically a thick ass table with thick ass legs, because I would have clients that could not be supported by a normal massage table. That will take care of most of your clients, but sometimes for longevity purposes even, you can custom build a massage table, get it padded, get it wrapped, plastic, leather, pleather, you know, something that is not going to absorb fluids, that will last you a long time. I really like massage tables, but you can't use that same massage table for 10 years. It will break down. I would just build my own bed with freaking 2x4s. I do not care. I would just make it all myself. The convenience of having a massage table like a standard one is that it is easy to fold up, put out of the way, and keep your floor space open. If you have like a set table, essentially, that will eat up your floor space forever, and sometimes it gets in the way. It really did, but it was really nice to have when I needed it.
On how to wrap your tattoo table and customize it with fabric that you like, and also be able to wrap it in
really
plastic.
fun.
So I'll link that above so you can check it out. You'll also need
And you can get like the heavy duty like plastic intended to put over fabrics, which is a really good idea. If you get ink stain on pleather, leather, whatever you're using, that is an easy wipeable material. It will still stain into that. Plastic, no problem. You will never have to worry about that.
this one has Darth Vader on it.
This is so
And like
cool.
behind me, I have a tool bench to house all your different equipments. Now the
Yes.
reason you have a tool bench and a dental tray.
Dude, I cannot explain to you how many times I've been stuck at hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, whatever, Walmart even, looking at tool benches where I'm like, I'm a tattoo artist. I just want something to put my bottles on. Like, dude, it is so nice having a tool bench, a toolbox. So fun. I love industrial things. This is bringing back so many good memories for me, because I'm like, I want to go buy a toolbox now.
Because a dental tray is just for the things you're using for that client. Your
Which
tool
is
bench
awesome.
is for all of your different equipment. So you
Yes.
do not cross-contaminate. So yeah,
Yes.
those are all.
Other thing about your setup that I love that he is bringing up. Do not take your whole supply list of, don't take everything and have it at your setup. Take what you need and just have that. So you don't have 5, 10, 20 bottles all being splattered or the mist hitting it, whatever that is. Keep it as far away as possible from where you are tattooing. You can get a rolling cart, have a metal tray on it, and wrap everything up. It doesn't necessarily have to be something like that, but that dental tray is the perfect example for not cross-contaminating.
All the musts and necessities of tattooing. But like I said earlier, please get an apprenticeship. Don't just buy all these things and tattoo in your kitchen. You don't want your friend's leg to fall off. Please respect the craft of tattooing and do it the right way. So yes, if you have any questions, comment them down below. I will try my very best to answer them. I hope that you have a good day.
Yes. Yes. Everything he said was great. Everything he said was super professional. A couple of things in there, like the spray bottle, like mist actually like grabbing bloodborne pathogens in the air, like crazy stuff like that. You don't really consider stuff like that. I think we all have a basic understanding for what that is because of COVID, specifically with droplets in the air. So you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, COVID is worse than the flu. This was a very professional video, very clear on his stance about tattooing at home. I know my audience, y'all are either tattooing yourselves at home without the proper education and you want some professional advice, or you are thinking about it, and it is somebody like this that really makes the good point of you are at risk. You do not understand the full spectrum of what you need and prevent yourself or other people from being hurt, like how important that is. I'm so glad that he is like really reaching out to that spectrum of knowledge that is very important as to why you need an apprenticeship. Did that make sense? Did my sentence make sense? I got really sidetracked. My kids are yelling about Lego World right now. She's not screaming, she's laughing, I swear. It's really so conflicting. Thank you for that amazing video. That was everything that I've tried to say that I do not know how to articulate. That was great. You know, this environment on YouTube of looking up other YouTubers and seeing how they do things, you know, I can give you guys a basic rundown of things that are not safe right off the bat. Until you are in a professional environment, I really cannot go into great depth on how dangerous it is to tattoo at home. It's like driving drunk. Like, there are people who have been driving drunk for 20 years, have never hurt anybody, have never done anything, and it only takes one time to kill everybody. You know? You understand the risks involved with that. And you understand how some people can do it once and kill somebody. You understand how somebody can do it every single day for 20 years and it only takes once to go to prison for life. It's like that, guys. That's really what tattooing at home is like. When I see people saying, I've been tattooing out of my house for X amount of years, I've never had a problem, I've never done an apprenticeship, I make money without having to pay my rental fees and blah, 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 and commission rates. It's only going to take once, dude. That's it. You only have to drive drunk once. I love how he explained this. I love how he really went into detail on how expensive a setup can be, how much you really need to perform properly, what kind of training you need to be aware of on a daily basis. That was perfect. That I had a really good time watching that. It brought up a lot of good memories on how hard it is to do this craft correctly and like be respectful about it too. I think that's my video for today. I had a really good nostalgic time watching that. I hope you guys learned some things from it. I hope that really motivated you to think seriously about whether you want to be in the industry and take time in picking up a skill or not, or if you are going to stay at home and do this in secret and hopefully nobody ever finds you. Either way, this is some insight for you, and I hope you use it wisely. But thank you for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!
I'm a tattoo artist. I just want something to put my bottles on.